We are back.
What's going on, dog?
What up, man? Oh man, let's
Just
see a little
chilling,
bit.
man.
What up?
Uh-oh.
Got a little technical difficulty there, y'all. We new to this.
What done happened?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right. I don't know if you hear the echo, but there's a slight echo on my computer over here. But we'll figure it out. I can hear you.
Good, man. What's been going on? Hey, 2024, we are back. We're on YouTube and IG Live, I believe, simultaneously. So we trying to do big things this year, man.
Uh, good.
Your shit fucking up, dog.
Can you hear
Jesus.
me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah. All right. So let's just get it. So basically, there's a slight delay on this side, so I hear it. But hey man, we are happy to be back. Like you said, we are on IG, we are on YouTube, so we got a lot of stuff going on, trying to figure things out on the go. So it's only going to get better. But today we got some quick nuggets for your competition of 2024. Of course, we got Jamal over here, myself, Eric. So y'all already know it, but we still have to say our names just in case. So how about you kick us off with one of your nuggets, man?
So we're doing bodybuilding tips for 2024. And my first nugget is focus on yourself. Your journey is your journey. You can't worry about nobody else, what somebody else is achieving. You can't worry about that. All you can do is focus on your journey. And the old saying, comparison is a thief of joy. That's really true in this sport. All right. If you start comparing yourself to others, it's not going to be good. So focus on yourself, do your prep, enjoy your journey. You work hard enough, you're going to get what's coming for you.
So yeah, I'm gonna piggyback on that, man. I made a post about that in the gym. Of course, how we always, I'm not gonna say we, but we see people constantly comparing themselves to like, even like this stuff. You went into Jordan twice. Everybody want to reach that accomplishment. So the first thing they think of like, I want to be like Jamal. I want to do this like Jamal. I'm gonna bench 405 today, or I'm gonna go bench 315 today. But that ain't how you. That's not how you become the Jordan Cup champion, man. Like ultimately, I'm pretty sure Jamal had path that he had to take, his own journey. Like, granted, me and him both, like, since last year, probably talked about every day close to it. And I know what his journey is behind the stage, on the stage, everything. Um, Trust and believe the stuff that this man go through, the stuff that we go through in our own individual homes. Most of y'all don't want to go through, but that's just
That's
our
a fact.
individual journey. So just know that your journey is going to be individualized and personalized to yourself. I hit that one good. I'm good.
What you got? Drop
All
one
right.
of your
So my
nuggets.
first one is show selection is more important than prep. And the reason I say that is it's just like a lot of people want to just hop on stage, but they don't know one, they probably don't have enough time for the specific show. And I got another point that's going to hit on this one, but it's like most people don't think about the whole totality of what show they're going to do. They're just going to pick a day on the calendar, like I'm going to do that show. In our reality, that show may not necessarily be fit for them.
Absolutely. For example, we know the back half of the season, that's the more competitive half of the season. And if you don't got a top tier body, you don't want to compete in the back half of the season because you're gonna end up getting dusted off. So your best bet is to try to compete in some of the earlier shows where the top tier pros are not coming out to. So I can agree with you on that one.
You got another one?
Oh man, I got plenty. Um, have a good support system. And what I mean by that, have people around you that generally want to see you do good and that's going to push you and that's going to be there to tell you the truth. You don't want no yes man with you while you're on this bodybuilding journey. You got to have honest people around you, people that's going to check you when you think you're doing something right or whatever the case may be. You need people there that's going to check you and keep you in line, and just have that good support system, man. That's very important in this sport, having a good support system.
Hey man, that was one of my nuggets, man. That's how I know we on the same page. That was one of my nuggets. So and that's the one thing I had worded a little bit differently, is create the proper accountability circle. You don't need the people in your gym, the 10, 20 Bob's John telling you look good and you need to be on the stage. Like, you don't need that. You probably need a real coach in your circle, a real friend that's going to tell you, hey, bro, that ain't it. You look big. You got to go harder. Like, those are the type of people you need in your circle. It don't matter. Like, a lot of people have a lot of hands in the kitchen, a really big circle. And some people have probably 2 or 3 people that they go to and ask questions for. So I don't really think the size of the circle matter, but you got to have the real ones in your circle to get through competition, because it's not easy, and you're going to need people who's going to tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear.
Absolutely. And it's funny because let me just caveat what you said about having a whole bunch of hands in the pots. So my next one is follow your coach guidance. If you don't believe in your coach, if you can't follow your coach guidance, if you got to go get outside help or outside guidance outside of your coach, then that's not the coach for you. You hired your coach for a reason. So if your coach is telling you to do something, then you need to do it. As long as you know it's not harmful or whatever. He's not telling you take anything illegal, whatever the case may be. But as far as like a plan of workouts, listen to your coach. If you're going to go get outside help, then you need to let your coach go and find somebody else. Communication is a big thing when it comes to, the athlete and the coach.
That's facts. Hey, I'm a coach and I'm an athlete, so I understand that. Like, honestly, like I said, my coach ain't telling it to me, and I ain't listening to it. I don't care what nobody say. Like, hey, you look flat today. All right, my coach ain't say that. You know what I mean? And
Right.
I think it's the same with my athletes. If they got a question, they'll come to me before anybody else. And I just think that's the type of respect and the type of trust that we have. And honestly, if you outsource them for information, most likely it's a trust issue between you and your coach. It's not really a them thing or a you thing. It's probably just that relationship isn't strong enough to feel like I can fully trust him with what's going on.
Absolutely.
So I have another one is prep isn't a switch. And what I mean by that is you can't turn prep on and off. Like, I hate when people be like, yeah, 10 weeks, I'm going to turn it up. Like, I'm gonna turn it on 10 weeks out. Like, it don't work that way, because I promise you there's people out here they don't have an off switch. So every time you decide to turn it off for a night, for an hour, for a couple minutes, like, that person that you're going against that's going to be on that stage, they're not turning it off. And I think that's what creates the separation. Like, a lot of people will be like, oh, I can mess up here, I can mess up there. But it's not that. Like, I hate when people, like, even like another sport, like, for example, people be like, yo, in basketball, we could just turn it on in the fourth quarter. Like, if you think about it, if somebody doing a 20-week prep, that lasts that's 5 quarters, but the last 5 weeks, people be like, yo, I'm gonna turn it on here. Like, I'm gonna hit all my cardio, I'm gonna do all this, I'm gonna eat my diet 100%. Like, you already lost the effort battle if you do it that way.
Man, that's a fact, bro. I don't know what the off switch is like. I can't turn it off, man. Like, I'm on go mode like all the time, and I think that's probably one of my downfalls. Even on like my rest days, bro. Like, I be so eager to do something, and I'm like, no, it's a rest day. So I like that one, man. There ain't no on and off switch in this sport, bro. Like, either you're fully committed or you're not. So I like that.
That's facts.
What
else do we have?
You got another one, or?
Oh yeah, I got plenty. We gonna talk it out. I got plenty. So my next one is make sure your priorities is aligned. I think this is a big one for all competitors, man. Because prep is prepping. Prep be prepping. That's the way I'm gonna put it. But it's just like, if your priorities on the line or it's not the right time for you to compete, just know that. Like, I know for me personally, I don't prep through the holidays. I won't make it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, January, February, March, you can miss me. I'm not prepping through the holidays. My birthday in December, I'm not giving that up. You know what I mean? But that's just my priorities. Like that's what I choose to do. Most of the time when I ask athletes when they're joining on, it's like, hey, do you have any birthdays coming up? Do you have like anniversaries? Do you like what do you have already planned on your schedule? Do you have like people travel throughout the year? So are you going to be traveling during prep? And that's just one of the main things of knowing like, hey, is this the right time for me to compete? Because let's be real, shows start in January, they end in December. You got plenty of time. So it's just ultimately making sure that your priorities align with when and where you want to compete.
I like that one. I like that one.
Hey.
But sometimes you gotta make them sacrifices though, big dog. Hey, I know it's goddamn, Thanksgiving, Christmas right around the corner. But for example, I did that 2 years ago, man. I did the Winter Classic in January. So those was things I had to sacrifice. I had to sacrifice Thanksgiving. I had to sacrifice Christmas because I wanted to get that pro card and compete on the pro level in this organization. So those are just a couple things I had to sacrifice. But nah, I totally get it, man. Prioritize, your shows and your prep. I like that.
Yeah, I got one question in the chat. I got to check the phone because I had to take it off the screen. It was echoing too much for me. So one of the questions was, how do y'all keep on prep and remain social?
I mean, I got, like we said, bro, I got a small circle that I communicate with throughout life in general. Like I don't consider everybody my friend in this bodybuilding sport because they're not. I mean, if we come across each other, hey, what's going on or whatnot, we may chat back and forth on IG, but in reality, you're really not my friend. Like we're just in this sport together, so that's something we can talk about. And if you don't know me, people think I'm an asshole. So, I mean, I just keep my circle small, man. And the people that's been rock with me, that's my people, and that's how I go about it.
Hey, the real answer is you don't be so. Not let me stop. But nah. So I think honestly, like you said, the people that surround you is kind of tying you back into knowing who's in your circle. If all your friends want to do is go out to the bar and drink, or go out to eat and plan dinners and invite you, then maybe those just aren't the people you need to hang out with at those specific times. Or you can go join them, but just make sure you eat before. Like I took my food to plenty of birthday parties. I took my food to plenty of family functions because they understand. But the longer you're in the sport, I think the more people understand. Like every time I go home now, my mom cooks healthy food and then she cooks regular food. It's just one of those type things when I'm on prep, they know I'm locked in for a specific goal. But it just really depends on how deep in prep you are. And well, honestly, you should be giving 100% on prep. So I'm not even gonna say that. But just kind of managing your time wisely and knowing what the function is and planning accordingly. Like we got the same coach, so you already know saying I slipped up just because I wanted to go out ain't really cut.
Facts. You got anything else, or that was it as far as questions?
So far, I think that's the only question because he knows that coach is going to get in his ass. That's how coach is in the chat. So I got another one for you. So one of my last few bullet points is attend to all avenues of compete. What I mean by that is just like your macros is a given. Like I got to follow my diet. Cardio is a given. I got to do my cardio. Following your plan in general. Finding a coach. Some people are self-coached. But then the last part of that is posing. Like, do not get on stage and not know how to pose.
That's funny. I got posing down
in there, especially if you're going to do all this other stuff. If you're going to follow your meal plan 100%, if you're going to follow, your diet 100%, do your cardio, bust your tail in the gym all day. Don't go to the show and not know how to pose. Like, honestly, it's a slap in the face. Jamal hopped on a few panels last year. I judged a few shows. And we can throw out a crazy percentage, but what do you think about 85% of critiques is like get better posing, like pose better?
Terrible.
Like, one thing that's a big problem in the sport.
Terrible. I definitely agree with that because I have posing down too, man. That's one thing you like. Just go to a posing clinic, hire posing, do something. But the posing be freaking terrible, man. Um, Another one I had is mental health, man. Make sure your mental health is right before you even start a prep. And fellas, I'm talking to us because I know we can be ignorant and act like we don't have issues going on or act like we the big bad guy and we try to take on 100 problems at once. That will affect your prep. Make sure your mental is right before you start prep, man. I cannot stress that enough. I don't care who you are. Make sure the mental is right. For real.
No, it's facts because let's be real. Everybody want to say this whole me versus me thing, but ultimately, man, you just fighting demons in the gym, man. You fighting your own demons, like like that's all you doing. Like, I feel like everybody's been in probably everybody getting to that deep dark space in prep, and the last thing you want to do is just add another mental issue or have a mental issue being that. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I think this sport, I think we said it's like a lot of mental. I ain't gonna say 50%. I don't have a percentage for this one because of course it's how you look. But if you can't mentally lock into your workouts, if you can't even mind muscle connection to the muscle when you're working out, or even locking into poses, like all that stuff plays a factor when you got other stuff going on outside of prep. So those are the main things. Like you gotta check your mental, man. You got to.
Right.
Um, we had a few comments. Emily said prep can be lonely at first. You have to find out who your friends are, and you said she had to cut people off who didn't truly support their goals. And I think probably all of us had to go through that. To be honest with you,
Man,
um,
it's not even cutting people off that don't support your goals, man. Cut them off if they even bringing bad energy to you. For real, bro. Like, cut them off.
you gotta let them go. Gotta let them go.
For real.
And then my coach said 95% of the amateurs can't pose. I firmly agree. And
I
sadly,
agree.
about 50% on the pro level. um, Someone says I have to agree with that. Posing can't keep you from getting that. Can keep you from getting that first place, for sure. I know I judged a show where the guy looked phenomenal, and I think even the head judge turned him 4 or 5 times because the guy wouldn't open his back. But then it was close enough where the guy probably should have won if he opened his back. But we can't judge what we don't see. And it was close enough where since he couldn't pose good enough and show his physique the right way, he had to take second that day. And it happens more often than not. Even people who's like, I think even Jamal's category, classic, guys know how to pose properly for their body. Like there's guys who can place significantly higher by the way they pose. If they got a small waist, if they pose and accent their waist, they can place higher. So it's just one of those things as to like not posing like a bodybuilder and actually posing classic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Uh, Man, the last one I got, or I think it's the last one, is just be yourself no matter what. Don't let a win change who you are. Don't let a loss change who you are. Stay grounded to who you are, man. This is just a fun hobby for all of us. All right, don't take it too serious, and don't let this sport change you. You know what I'm saying? Ups and downs, man. People are going to talk no matter what. If you're at the top of the top, they're going to find some way to talk about you, try to knock you down. If you're at the bottom, guess what? They're going to talk about you. So just remain yourself, have the good people around you, and just have fun with this sport,
Uh, yeah, I forgot one. See, I had to add it on here.
man.
Hey, we gonna get them all out. We had 20 minutes. We still going strong. So I think another one is a lot of people do not talk about the financial aspect of the sport. Even I think with women, it's even more of an impact than men. Like I mean, we go get our hair cut. We may or may not. I found out that certain people don't get their feet done before they compete. They say it's a pretty boy thing. So So like we got paid for haircut trunks. Like granted, trunks can cost anywhere between 70 to maybe $140 if you order in customs. I'm pretty sure there's going to be a woman in here who's going to tell me how much their suit costs, and I think it's north of like $300, $400. So that goes along. I think this goes along the line of the priorities. Like you got to know how much the sport costs. It's not cheap at all. I think some registrations on the pro level cost about 250 to 275. So you are making a huge investment to compete. That's not talking about your normal food bill. Like, granted, if you're in the off season, you know you buy more food. Hell, I love when I'm shredded because I eat less food. Like, less money I got in my pocket, you know. But you're paying for show fees. Like, just think about it. You got your tan, your show fees. You got pictures. If you're going to take pictures, most likely you're probably going to buy some type of clothes while you prepping because you're not going to fit the ones you normally wear. Like, it's a lot of money that goes into the sport. So that has to definitely be tied into the priorities to know, like, all right, well, I'm going to be spending out this amount of money. Like, and if you don't know how much money you're going to spend, that's where your accountability circle. Like, talk to people who's been in the sport for a while. Talk to your coach. Like, make sure you're asking these questions so then that way when it's time for you to compete, that month you're not spending out thousands. Well, it might be $1,000, but you're not spending out, $500, $600, $700 in 1 month. Like that's super important. That's a big nugget for me.
No, that is true, man. Like you said, I know the females, they spend a grip, man, just on their suits alone, and just imagine everything else, as you said, on top of that. So make sure your priorities are straight. Make sure your money is good. Don't be, like I said last year, don't be having no GoFundMe accounts asking people to pay for your freaking your prep and all that mess, man. That's garbage. Quit begging.
I was about to say also, dang, I had it. What was I about to say? I forgot. Good gracious, it was a good one too. Um, but I think it went along with the money. But same as that. Oh yeah, do not be from all my amateurs. Please listen to me. Hey y'all, if y'all know somebody who's competing soon, please send this video to them and tell them to fast forward to 23 minutes and 48 seconds because they need to hear this. Do not be the amateur that shows up to a show, look good, prep for 20 weeks, and your coach only got you in debut. Do not be that person. Man, if your coaches are not familiar with the natural organizations and how you get a pro card, then you need to ask questions. Like I see this way too many times, and I've seen it all of 2023. Probably about 4 or 5 guys that possibly should have been pros now. They gave away a pro card by their coach telling them, "Hey, this is your first show. Only do debut." Like if it's your first show, my recommendation always, if you did everything to get to that stage and you did it the right way and you're shredded, you look good, you know how to pose, get as much stage time as possible. Do debut, novice, open. Like hell, if you're 45, 50, do masters. Like get all the stage time, get all the trophies in your first show that you can. Because the worst thing you can do is show up to a show. The guy who wins his pro card is in debut. You beat him in debut, and then that's the only trophy you leave him with. And your coach, you talk about, well, my coach didn't know or I didn't know. Like these are questions that like you have to ask before getting to the stage. I hate seeing it. Like the judges talk about it after the show. Like, dang, if he would have did open, he probably would have won. As crappy as that sound, but it's like just because you're not informed on that, like I just hate it. That's all I got to say about that. I know you probably seen that once or twice too.
Nah, absolutely. Which I can play devil's advocate with you for a minute. What if that athlete only has enough money to be in that one category? What if you don't got enough money to cross over into all the other categories? That's just me playing devil's advocate. You don't have to answer that. Don't worry about it.
I'm answering it. First of all, that goes with your product knowledge stuff. But like most of the time I hear, most of the time I talk to the guys and I be like, hey, why didn't you do open? They always say I didn't know. It's never a financial thing. It's always like I didn't know. Because let's be real, like if it's a financial thing, they should have just did open. Like that's the only thing you can win your pro card in. Forget debut. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if it's a financial thing, like if any one of my athletes or somebody came to me and said, hey, I'm really tight on money, what category should I do? I mean, you came here to win a pro card. So we doing open. Like we're gonna just skip over debut, novice, and all that other stuff. what we gonna do open. So I mean, if that's what it comes down to, that's what it's gonna be.
And just a caveat off of that, I don't know about any other organizations, but I know in the OCB, listen, get your head in the criteria and make sure you are in the right freaking category, okay? Don't get mad at the judges whenever you don't get that first place thinking you was that number one body, but your physique wasn't in the right freaking class or whatever. Category, I should say. So make sure you are in the right category, all right? Get your head in the book, read it. It's online or whatever the case may be. Because that's a couple things I've seen this year, man. People thought they was a number one body, but their physique didn't fit that criteria for that category. So
Gotcha.
Make sure you're in the right category.
Let's just do a quick recap of like the points, just in case people's joining. And then, like I said, if you hear any of these points and any of these points, stand out to you, make sure you just go back, listen to it. This will be loaded on YouTube, also loaded on Instagram, I think. Still figuring it out. So if it disappears, you're gonna have to watch it on YouTube. Our bad.
Heck yeah.
Make sure you subscribe to YouTube, by the way. But so my points, and then I'm gonna let Jamal give all his points, and I'll give you my points. So show selection is more important than prep. Basically meaning pick the right show. Make sure you have a long enough time. The statistic I always give to my athletes or anybody I do a consult with, 9 out of 10 athletes most likely are going to have to lose anywhere between 35 to 40 pounds, maybe 25 to 40 pounds on their first prep. So make sure you're giving yourself enough time. Prep isn't a light switch. You can't turn it on and off. You're either all in or you're not. It's just one of those things, especially if you're trying to win. Make sure your priorities are aligned. That's including financial as well, just because this sport is expensive. Create a proper accountability circle, whether it's a coach, a friend. And like I said, these aren't the people at your gym that tells you like you're the most jacked guy in the gym. These are real people who's going to tell you what you need to hear, not what you want. And attend to all avenues of competing, posing, proper coaching, and anything else that goes along those lines.
All right. Mine was focus on yourself. Your journey is your journey. Comparison is a thief of all joy. Have a good support system. Follow your coach guidance. Get that mental health. Posing. And like I said, be yourself no matter what. And you know my motto, bruh. Fuck them. If they don't like you, fuck them. That's my motto. I live by that.
You need to get down a t-shirt. Let's talk about it for season 3 edition.
Hey, fuck them.
Hey, but we appreciate everybody who's on here. I think we had a couple of technical difficulties with Jamal live streaming, but what we'll do is we'll try to chop this up and get everybody to come watch it on YouTube afterwards. But we really do appreciate. I think we got about 18 people on my Instagram, and then we got a couple on YouTube. So we appreciate everybody, and we will see y'all next week. We rocking every week now. Is this the thing?
Every week, man. We're gonna have a good topic for y'all next week. What we gonna talk about? People going dark and prep. What we got next week?
They gonna go bat mode.
All right, man.
All right, y'all. We'll talk to y'all. We appreciate y'all, and see y'all next week. Peace.
Man.